to the podcast for When the Curves Line Up for September 13, 2023. Please see the article that includes diagrams of today's events on the website. Text by Jeffrey L. Hunt. In Chicago, sunrise occurs at 6:29 a.m. Central Daylight Time, followed by sunset at 7:04 p.m. Here is today's planet forecast. In the morning sky. Step outside an hour before sunrise this morning. Bright stars and planets decorate the eastern and southern sections of the sky. Brilliant Venus, this morning's brightest star-like body, is over 20 degrees above the eastern horizon. Even while stepping toward the east, it appears higher in the sky each morning, gaining 3 minutes of rising time each day compared to sunrise. Venus is moving eastward toward Regulus, Leo's brightest star, over 17 degrees to the lower left of the brilliant planet and about 10 degrees above the horizon. Venus closes the gap to the star each morning, passing 2.3 degrees from the star on October 9th. Venus and Sirius, night's brightest star, is about 40 degrees to the right of Venus, in the southeastern sky at about Venus altitude, height above the horizon. Both bodies appear at nearly the same altitude throughout the month. Sirius is too far away from the ecliptic, the plane of the solar system where the moon and planets appear to move through the sky, for a close conjunction of the star with the planets or moon. We can admire the view of the brightest planet and brightest star in the eastern sky during morning twilight. Procyon, meaning before the dog and also known as the little dog star, is above an imaginary line from Venus to Sirius. For sky watchers at mid-northern latitudes, it rises about 30 minutes before the dog star. Look for the moon, 2% illuminated, 4.7 degrees to the lower left of Regulus. A binocular is helpful to see the scene. The pair is higher in the sky as morning twilight progresses toward daybreak. So this is a balance between seeing the moon and Regulus in a darker sky or seeing them higher above any obstructions. Mercury is racing into the morning sky, although it is not high enough to be seen during early twilight. It rises nearly an hour before sunrise. 25 minutes later, it is about 4 degrees above the eastern horizon, 7.4 degrees to the lower right of the crescent moon. The pair fits tightly into a binocular field of view, but Mercury is not very bright, likely washed out by brighter pre-dawn light. At an hour before sunrise, bright Jupiter is high in the south-southwest. Noticeably brighter than Sirius, but dimmer than Venus, the Jovian giant stands against the stars of Aries, 13.5 degrees to the lower left of Hamel, the Ram's brightest star, and 11.2 degrees to the upper right of Menkar, Cetus Nostral. Spot the Pleiades star cluster about 16 degrees to the upper left of the planet. Jupiter is retrograding, appearing to move westward compared to the distant starfield. During the next several mornings, watch it move between Hamel and Menkar. At 2:21 a.m. CDT, when Jupiter is high in the southeast, the planet's great red spot is at the center of the planet in the southern hemisphere through a telescope. This long-lived atmospheric disturbance returns to the center of the planet for sky watchers in the Americas, 2 Jupiter days later at 10:13 p.m. CDT when Jupiter is about 10 degrees up in the eastern sky, viewed from Chicago. Mars is slowly descending into bright twilight. It is dimmer than expected, setting about an hour after the Sun. Saturn is the western edge of the planet parade, rising in the east-southeast before the Sun sets. 2 hours after nightfall, the ringed wonder is in the southeast. Not as bright as dazzling Venus or Jupiter, it is brighter than most stars this evening. Saturn retrogrades in front of Aquarius, 9.2 degrees to the upper right of Skate, the Aquarian's leg, and 9.5 degrees to the right of Lambda Aquarii. During the night, the planet is farther westward, appearing in the south around midnight. Jupiter follows along about 2 hours behind Saturn. About 2.5 hours before sunrise, Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn are along the imaginary arc of the ecliptic from the east to the west-southwest. By 30 minutes later, Saturn is near the horizon. The Venus-Saturn opposition occurs October 10th, when Saturn sets as Venus rises. The two planets are 180 degrees apart. We do not see them in the sky at the same time again until Venus is in bright twilight next March. Thank you for listening. Please read the articles at whenthecurveslineup.com.